wherever you are, however you may be listening. This is your Wednesday wrap-up. How's it going, my man?
Man, I am pumped. I won't be pumped in an hour when I got to run out to three things that I gave myself, only 2 time slots for, but I'm pumped right now, man.
Hey, it's always good to overbook yourself. It frees the afternoon up.
There you go. My favorite part about overbooking myself is when I go look to who I get to blame for all this. I'm like, it's
yeah, that's the joy of being self-employed, right? You're like, anything cool that happens, you're like, yeah. And then everything bad that happens, you're like, I know who caused that. It was me.
Yes, it was me. Oh, yeah. I'm going to hire some high school kid and pay him a couple bucks just so I can yell at him when things go wrong.
What is the job description? You are the fall guy. So I can guarantee you won't get fired.
Yes.
But I'm going to yell at you all the time.
All the time. Yes. Because guess what? A lot of mistakes coming from you. A lot of mistakes.
That is awesome. That would be an intern worth picking up.
Yes. Wouldn't it? Hey, look, whenever StreamYard messes up on you, you could yell at them since you can't yell at StreamYard. At least you have a...
Right? That's actually the guy you take with you. That way, something really bad happens on the job. You're like, you know what? You're fired. You fire that guy like a couple times a project. It's fine.
Basically. Bring him back with a new name each time.
Right? Why does he look the same? Oh, it's his twin. It's his twin brother.
Yeah.
I fired them both this week.
Yeah. Didn't realize they were both incompetent. But guess whose fault it's not? Mine. I'm in the clear, baby. Awesome. I'm in the clear.
Speaking of incompetence,
Uh-oh.
the Bengals cannot protect Joe Burrow.
No.
And it's funny. It's a conversation we've had many times where I've said that Joe Burrow only plays every other season in this league. And people were expecting the Bengals to be amazing, which I don't know. I don't really get anyway because they don't have a defense. But people were thinking, oh yeah, they're a lock to get to the playoffs, which is funny when you think about it because Burrow threw for a career year, has a triple crown, receiver. The odds of him duplicating that's kind of low, right? But that's what people were expecting. But then you don't get him a defense. And mind you, they missed the playoffs last year. Right. So you don't get him a defense. You don't fix his offensive line. And he's a little bit on the fragile side. And lo and behold, here we are. He's out 2 to 3 months with a toe injury that requires surgery. Like, what are the Bengals doing?
Right. Which is also ironic because they actually started off 2-0 despite looking very inept in 2 games, then losing Burrow and having the backup have to lead a little bit of a comeback. So it's like you thought maybe they had turned the corner. They hadn't. That first game they should have lost. So, the Browns just tried to be worse than the Bengals and they outdid them. And that's how they lost that game. So, but no, I mean, you're absolutely right. You called it before, like, hey, he was due for another injury. And then the Bengals doubled down on it by not paying anybody but 3 people. And we said it on one of the previews, like, what if one of those guys isn't there and that's who you're paying for your entire thing? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, you've kind of doomed yourself. You haven't given yourself an out, like, at all for this. Browning, serviceable. But you expect from your backup quarterback 3 to 4 games. Whenever Dak would go down and Cooper Rush would be in there, they got a 6-game sample out of him, was like 5-1 one year or 4-2, something like that. That's the most. You're not thinking, hey, we need you for 3 months because otherwise those guys are not usually your backups. I would think maybe Tanner McKee is maybe one of your best, I guess, if you needed to go longer term. But we've only seen these guys in short bursts. Once people start getting books on them, it gets worse. So Bengals spend a lot of money to not make the playoffs again.
For sure. Well, and then the one guy they paid on defense is only for this year. They didn't extend him. So I don't know what their plan is. When you
I don't think they do either.
Done, right? I mean, you're just like, did you guys forget that there's like other phases of the game than offense? And say you're going all in on the offense. Shouldn't it be some like dudes on the offense, that offensive line? I mean, you pay 3 guys that occupy over half of your cap for the year. Obviously, the rest of your players are like Timu caliber guys because that's all you can afford.
Yeah. Yeah. And I said it before, man. I really thought that they thought that Jermaine Burton would work out and they could maybe get rid of Higgins and save some money there. Mm-hmm. Probably should have traded Higgins at some point and just drafted better, got somebody else next to him and just focus on Burrow and Chase. But you can't pay 3 guys like that. And then, like you said, have no line and no defense. And one of my criticisms always been with a lot of these GMs is the plan seems to be, how do I keep my job each year versus how do I make us good in 3 to 4 years? And you can see that with the Bengals. Well, if we pay these guys this year and we just get Hendrickson and we have a great run, good. And if Hendrickson's good, maybe we figure something out. And if he's bad, then we're like, see, this is why we didn't pay him. And we're just hoping for the best. And first off, you're the Bengals. There is no hope in Cincinnati. There hasn't been hope like in a long time. So maybe one of the worst things that happened to them was they made that Super Bowl and everybody thought, oh, this is a formula. We could just stay along this track. No, generational runs by a couple of guys, really helped out. And they're a dangerous team, with Burrow out there in that offense, but it's just not sustainable for the long term. And that was their problem.
Yeah. No, they're, I don't know. Like, I can't even, it's almost like it's a little kid playing like legacy mode on Madden, right?
Yep.
Where they're just like, I actually don't know what any buttons do. And they're just mashing the controller and they randomly paid 3 guys and then neglected the whole rest of the franchise.
Yeah.
Except these guys are getting paid insane money to be bad at this. So let me just officially put in my application. I can ruin your franchise just as good as any of these guys.
I'll take half the money. I mean, what's he making?
Yeah, I want to raise. Yeah.
Because you're going to ruin it faster?
Well, not only that, but it doesn't go against the cap.
But we've said it for a while, man. I don't think enough GMs take the fall. They always throw whatever crap at the coach and then say good luck. But now with Burrow getting hurt, it's almost like, I always feel with injuries, it buys everybody an extra year. Like, oh, this year didn't count against us. Burrow got hurt. It's not our fault. But is it not your fault? Like, if you're not the one protecting him and he's had a terrible run the whole time he's been there, that really not your fault? Prior, if you didn't want to pay Hendrickson and you didn't want to pay like Higgins, that's what I said, build up a whole line. Maybe give him a running game. I don't know. These are just thoughts I'm just randomly throwing out, Bo.
At least give them an okay offensive line, right? Like, let's try not for just drag in the basement for guys. How about you just, try to be 15th as far as offensive line rating. I bet Burrow could survive back there, right?
Yes.
Like, he's mobile enough. He could, move around and do some stuff. Like, you don't have to have the best offensive line ever assembled, but you probably need, one that's not bottom 6 or 7, right? Yeah, I don't know. It's I'm not even a Bengals fan, but man, it's frustrating to watch not being a fan. I can't even imagine people that are.
No. And it's funny when and this is obviously most people won't care about this, but fantasy football wise, it came up and like my brother had one of the first picks and he's like, I'm getting Jamar Chase. And I was like, yeah, he wanted me last year, but it's the Bengals. I mean, first off, like you said, already, repeating that kind of stuff year to year is already going to be tough. Number 2, I was like, somebody's definitely getting hurt. When you decide to go all in with 3 guys and they're all on the same side of the ball, I was like, that's just not sustainable. Something's going to happen. And yeah, I don't wish injuries on anybody. I definitely don't wish it on Burrow, but yeah, you saw a lot of this coming. You guys do not build teams well at all. So and you're also a victim of the caps keep going up for everybody. So you're paying your quarterbacks more. You're paying your wide receivers more. Yeah, well, you can't. I saw a city. You just should have traded Higgins at some point and tried to spread that money out to other stuff. He won the Triple Crown last year with Higgins playing like half the games, it felt like. So
Well, you knew that they didn't care at all when, just before the season starts, rather than spending the last little bit of cap they had on any defensive player or offensive line help or anything, they go and get a tight end and Noah Fant. And you're just like, it's like, oh, you know what we need? More weapons, not protection, not defense.
Yes.
I mean, I would have even been okay if maybe you went and got a really good special teamer, right? Like a guy that can return punts, or just something. And instead they're like, you know what we need? More offense. That's what we need. It's like, you guys, you had Burrow throw for over 4,000 yards and you missed the playoffs. Like there's obviously other elements of the game that you guys aren't connecting on.
Yeah. Isn't that like the most like FU sort of thing from the GM? It's like the coach is in there like, hey, man, we need to do this. We need to do this. And the GM's like, yeah, meet Noah Fant. He's like, that's not what we were talking about. Nah, that's what I think I want to do. Noah Fant. And then I guess he was the third leading receiver the last time. So now the guy's like, yeah, see, Chase, Higgins, Fant. I'm a winner.
Yeah, but they already had a tight end, so it's not even like they needed that.
And already a receiving tight end. Gesicki was already really good at that stuff that they were trying to do. So,
yep. And it's funny that you mentioned fantasy, because that actually does bring us to our second team with a quarterback injury. And it's funny because if you were playing fantasy with with one of their receivers, you probably are excited that JJ McCarthy is hurt, because he is he's out with a high ankle sprain. That's 2 to 3 weeks at a minimum, right?
And with those, you never know it's sprains.
Exactly, right? Some of those linger on, could be 4 or 5 weeks. So you have Carson Wentz coming in. Well, whether you like his personality or not, which seems to be the biggest issue with this guy, is off the field, intangibles, seems to be what, obviously I've never met the guy, so I don't know, but that seems to be what has kind of clouded his, his thing. But what he can do is throw the ball, right? Yeah. He obviously, he was very good with the Eagles. He had a great year with the Colts, and, they moved on from him for whatever reason. And then, it was a disaster in Washington, but everything's a disaster in Washington with that old ownership. But if you were a Justin Jefferson person,
yeah, that's me.
I'm saying you probably start him this week.
Yeah.
Whereas I wouldn't have even drafted him personally with McCarthy.
JJ,
because, when he was at Michigan, it was a run-heavy offense. He wasn't asked to do a whole lot. Obviously, he missed all of last year with an injury. So you knew this year was going to be not only his rookie year, but coming off of an injury. It just doesn't say that he's going to just be spreading the ball around. So as enticing as like a Justin Jefferson would be, you never watched him throw the ball downfield that much.
Right.
You're just I don't know. But now that you have Wentz there, who is a guy that will stretch the field a bit, I imagine if you have Justin Jefferson, you're like, hey, come off the bench, buddy.
Well, they won the first game when they finally decided somewhere in the third or fourth quarter, maybe we should throw to Jefferson or stretch the field. I don't get – Jefferson's not the kind of guy that allows, like, mistakes. You don't throw it up to him and he makes no effort and the DB gets it, right? If the DB gets it over him – you saw that. What was it? Was it the Buffalo one? The one-handed reaching back, like I'm snatching a possible interception on and fourth down. Like, that's your guy. I don't get, if I'm a young quarterback and I don't know anything else to do, I'm just throwing it up in his general direction. Hope he makes
That's right. Jefferson's out there.
You know what I mean? Right. And I'm probably going to hit 50, 60% of those just because of who he is. Either that or it's incomplete. But they get these, and sometimes I've watched both of his games, I guess, because they were prime time or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know what you guys are doing. I don't know. And you're exactly right when you think back at it. And that's the problem with doing my fantasy drafts. I stopped doing all research and stopped looking at stuff. I'm just like, when it's my turn, who's the guy I like the most? But yeah, had I actually thought about it and what I knew of JJ McCarthy, I was like, yeah, this would not work out. And then it's not working. And I'm up here explaining that to people, just like you just did. I'm like, yeah, well, Michigan never let him do anything. And then he was out for a year. And then I'm also thinking, but you drafted Justin Jefferson, idiot. Yeah, okay.
I did this dumb thing that I'm talking about.
Yes, but I had that exact conversation with somebody recently. I'm like, nobody will ever know what JJ. But I didn't think he was a first round draft pick after seeing that. And they beat us, and went on to win a title. But I said I didn't see JJ made like 2 throws that game.
They beat us too. Yeah, no, like I get it, but they didn't beat us because of him, right? Like they beat us because of their defense. And
their running game.
Exactly. They controlled the clock. And so, he had to make like 3 good passes that game in the championship, right? Yep. It's not like he was out there lighting it up and, what you would assume Heisman numbers would look like or anything like that. It's just like, he came in, he managed the game pretty well. The running game was dominant and the defense was unreal. Like that's how they won a championship. He goes, to the Vikings, and you're just like, I mean, I guess we'll see. Like, it's a good scenario. They have a great team. He has tons of weapons. I guess we'll find out if he can throw the ball. And then, obviously he gets hurt preseason last year, and then, already hurt this year. If you're the Vikings, you got to be a little worried.
Yeah. Well, and you left, I don't blame them for letting Darnold go, but you've got a core, like you have to capitalize on having a guy like Jefferson, right? And having a defense that's flying around. And now are you setting your whole quarterback? Because Wentz is not your long-term answer. Are you setting that all back? And I feel like they're always going to be just good enough to not get a great draft pick. So are we going to try and cycle veterans for a while here? Or are you just going to hope when JJ comes back, he magically puts it together? Because now you're just talking about missing a year, then missing maybe a year and a half. It's like, when was the last meeting? And he hasn't looked good when he's out there, so he's definitely not learning on the job, right? You're almost like, did he beat the Bears, or did the Bears, from what you see now, did they just beat themselves because of the Bears?
So, the Bears beat themselves. Yeah, because the Bears also found a way with a good roster to look terrible.
Yes.
So there is that. But it's in fact, that game, they absolutely beat themselves, right? Because in that fourth quarter, Caleb Williams just forgot how to hit wide open receivers, right? Like he had more, walk-in touchdown that he missed by at least 10 yards.
Yep.
I mean, he didn't even have a chance. And that wasn't even the worst play of that quarter. That was just the most visual play of that quarter. But it was.
There's more.
Yeah. I mean, that final 15 minutes. If you were a Bears fan, you're like, oh, what happened?
No. JJ McCarthy threw his first touchdown pass to the wrong team, and they still managed to squander that and win. Yep. So I need you guys to do better. So. Eberflus is sitting somewhere, so you say it wasn't me. It wasn't all me.
I mean, weirdly, he's not wrong. But still,
I can't believe I'm about to say it. Like, you weren't good. Okay, let's just be clear. Like, this isn't good either.
You were awful. Like, it was a good firing. In fact, it was later than it should have been, and yet. We're seeing the same team somehow. With more talent. That's even the worst part.
Yes. You can't say that they have not supported Caleb Williams, or try to support that team.
Literally anyone else in that scenario probably wins their first 2 games. Because, they have a good defense. They have good weapons. They fixed their offensive line. You just have Caleb Williams holding onto the ball forever. So, like, if you had, even if they would have taken Darnold, and it's funny because, I say that like Darnold's some like great quarterback. I'm not. I'm actually using Darnold to illustrate the fact that like you could just have like a dude out there that, is accurate, can throw the ball. Their line can protect,
Right.
I mean, you watched him run into trouble instead of just using the protection he had. So, you could have a game managing style quarterback and the Bears could be good.
Yes.
But I was listening to a soundbite. I wish I would have grabbed it. I didn't think this conversation was going to go this way, but they were. It was on the Herd, and Colin Cowherd was interviewing. I think he was like a past. He was like a past scout or a past GM or something like that, and he's just like, oh yeah, you can't teach Caleb Williams anything. He had coaches come up and talk to him, and he would just roll his eyes and walk away. And it's like, man, that's not something you want to see out of your young quarterback. Like, you don't know everything, right? And I mean, if that's your attitude, you can have all the tools in the world. You're not going to be in the league a long time. And then there was Case Keenum is their backup, right? Keenum's been a backup QB in the league forever. He started for a while. Like, I mean, he's been around for like 14 years or something, right? So obviously he knows how to do some things, right? So he's showing him plays on the tablet. And then as soon as he's done, Caleb Williams rolls his eyes and just walks away. It's like, oh, okay, he learned nothing from that. Right. And you have a journeyman guy who's been doing it since you were, in junior high.
Trying to show you,
right. And you can't take that kind of information. I mean, that's wild to me.
Yeah. And those guys are not, maybe they don't have the same talent level as you, but they stick around for a reason. They have knowledge. They pick up stuff really quickly. And a lot of times they can tell you what should happen on things. Like, look, I can't do this, but here's what should happen. And someone with your talent should be able to do. But I think part of the problem is Caleb Williams is, I think they like to, he's not a pocket guy. And I think a lot of times those guys are the ones who are like, I can get out of whatever trouble happens. Let me just run over here and then run over here and then just throw it and I'll be fine. I'm good. My talent will get me out. And that's just not yes, it's like, but you hear that, especially from the guys that don't end up making it, Yeah, high school, I was great. In the college, I was still pretty good. Yeah, but how many times have I said that the third string linebacker in the NFL will still hawk you down, The guy that we think is a scrub and is about to get cut is still better than, 95% of everyone else in the world. So
the practice squad guy
is
better than 95% of everybody else.
Yes.
Yeah. It's interesting. I think his attitude derails his career.
Yeah. That's wild to me, especially when you came in. It's not like you're lighting the world on fire. You didn't lead the team to the playoffs in the first thing, and now the talent keeps getting better and the team's not getting better. Like, it comes back to you at some point. So maybe stop rolling your eyes and just listen to somebody.
Exactly. Especially now, right? Because you look at that roster and you're just like, this roster can win, right? Yeah. Like, obviously it's in a tough division. So the record may not indicate, like, even if you were playing great, the record may not indicate it because you have to play the Vikings and the Lions and Green Bay, right? So you're looking at the division you have to get out of, and you're like, okay, like you might end up with a 8 or 9 win season where you could look at it and be like, hey, it was a good year moving forward, right? Like, hey, maybe we didn't make the playoffs, but we had some good things. We just got beat up in our division, but this is the team we have moving forward, where the Lions are going to start to come back down to earth and stuff like that. But now you have all this talent and you don't look good, right? So it's not like you're losing in ways where you're like, oh, you know what? Like losses are a problem, but that was a good loss, right? Like, you threw for, 295 and 2 touchdowns and, you ran for another 30 yards or whatever. You can look at that and be like, okay, well, you lost, but like it was a good showing. Instead, you're looking at these, it's like, okay, you had the lead and then you just melted down for the final 20 minutes of play.
Right. Right.
And you couldn't hit anything.
Yeah.
It's like that preseason video where he couldn't hit the net, right? The throwing net that was 10 yards away. That, like,
right. Yeah. I know you're talking about,
I mean, I can hit that left-handed, and I look like I've never thrown before left-handed.
I do that too. You can't get you try to copy it, and then it just still comes off like, what was that?
It's just like, I don't know how to use my arm, I guess. Like, I don't.
Right. No. And to your point, how do you look at all that and then think I'm still too good to take any kind of coaching? That's what's amazing to me. So
yeah, well, and I mean, you should want coaching.
Yeah,
right? Like you should want to get better. I have never understood. It's why those guys are there, right? Like you have the tools, and then they are there to like forge you into the thing that makes you better, right?
Yeah.
Like great example of that is I was doing I was going through the licensing for my SCCA license, right? I was doing a test run, first stage of getting a race car racing license, right? And so we're down at this track called the Ridge, cool track, and we're going through it, and I'm driving, and we were going through, I think we had like 3 or 4 driving sessions during that day. And you had to have their instructor with you, right? So I'm driving, he's shotgun, right? We had to put a seat in there just for him. And so we're going along, and on the second time around, and it was raining, right? So we're going down this back stretch at, about $1.55, and there's like little pools of water and stuff. And it's like, yeah, this is probably not the best day ever for, trying to do your early testing for licensing. But so we're going through, I think it was like corner 3, and my right rear grabs a rumble strip, upsets the car. We slide out, right? And so I glide this thing and then put it into the next corner. And all I see is his thumbs up sitting next to me, right? And we go back through. And so we come off at the end of the session. He's like, hey, he's like, you obviously can drive. He's like, I don't need to be in here the rest of the time. I was like, no. I want you here. And he's like, why is that? I was like, because I've never been on this track. So you can tell me every entry and exit point of every corner. So now you don't have to focus on, can I drive the car? Now you can tell me, how can I shave tenths of a second off my lap time? Right. As opposed to like, no, I know how to drive. Get out of my car. Like take the coaching, right?
Yes.
These guys do this for a living. So I just never understand when people don't accept the coaching. That's why they're there. And your job is to get better every day.
Yeah. So, and if you can just be a little bit better off of that coaching, like that's the difference between like being good and being great in the NFL, Tom Brady paid attention to the smallest things, and he was looking at the tablet and listening to everybody like after every play. I mean, it just how it was,
Absolutely. So. Yeah. No, I mean, and you're looking for the little things, right?
Because
everyone in the league is great, right? Like even the worst guy on the practice squad is good enough for a NFL team to be like, yeah, no, we still want you around. Like we don't have space on the roster, but we also don't want to see you in someone else's uniform. So, I mean, then it's on you as a player to get with those coaches, to get with former players that are willing to talk to you and be like, okay, like, how do I tweak this? And how do I tweak this? And how do I beat this safety coming down that's disguised? And, just those little things become big things.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
That being said, if you are if you are listening on 97.3 ICU radio, if you're watching, get yourself checked out. But if you are listening on 97.3 ICU radio, be sure to stay tuned for the next hour. Smooth jazz coming your way. Otherwise, we are going to continue on here on the Wednesday wrap up. How about that? We got Raj in the house just in time for us to talk a little bit about these Dolphins. And so there was a report saying that week 1, Tua was playing with some concussion symptoms, but not enough to deem him in concussion protocol. But the response times were not clear-headed either. So the question there is that just the new normal? Or like, did he have enough of them that he's just always a little bit fuzzy? But if there is anything that indicates that maybe he did, I mean, this medical staff has to get fired, right? Like, I mean,
yeah, I mean,
it seems like there's, I don't know.
it just feels like everybody's trying to get fired by the end of this year. You know, what we're seeing on the field. Yeah, McDaniels is gone. Ooh. I don't see how you went from first game no offense to second game all offense. Defense didn't show up at either one, and you're 0-2 to start the year. And then this report comes out, and Tyreek's getting in trouble, and
Mike McDaniel,
I just don't even know.
McDaniel's just crashing out in every press conference now. Yeah. I mean, he did before the season, right? He had the one. Today's a day closer to death, and you're just like, dang, man. Like that is amazing. And then when you listen to his one right after the game, remember that little video that was going around. It was a kid trying to describe his dream that never said anything. He's just like, and then like that was his press conference basically. He's like, you gotta win the game. That's how you win the game, is you don't lose the game, but then you win the game. And you're just like, okay, man, like I don't
just stop.
Maybe less of whatever you're on. Like
yes. We saw you sniffing on the sideline, man. Like right. Send an assistant coach out or something. You know.
Maybe
or just take the fine. You know, the organization will pay it. Just take the fine. Skip the interview.
For real. Maybe enjoy South Beach a little less. Like
right.
Yeah. No, I didn't have a big Dolphin segment, but it was just like, what is happening? Like that team is just full on imploding. And then of course they're about to get smacked this week on Thursday Night Football. The Bills come to town and they're going to get worked because that team does not look like they play as a team. The defense hasn't figured anything out, and coaching. Do they have any?
Yeah. No, I don't see how he saves this job, and especially after a bad 0-3 start. And it's like, you don't talk to any Dolphins fan who has it. Like, I apologize, Rob. I haven't even piled on in the group threads because I feel so bad. Usually I tease them about it or say I haven't said a word about it because I picked New England this past week because I was like, I just don't trust them to hold on.
Yeah, so I didn't pick them. I was like, oh, you know what? This is going to be a bounce back game. New England's terrible. And then, but New England does have a good defense. But then I was like, I watched the game and I was just, Dolphins may not win a game.
It's tough. It's tough. And they actually were getting good stuff out of Waddle, which is what I thought was a problem for a minute, with his availability. But you put a lot of good things together offensive wise in the second game. And then the defense, you've given up exactly 33 points in 2 games already.
Exactly.
That's not sustainable for the year,
Yep. So the concussion related, throw that on there. So it was just a report, and but it wasn't. There wasn't enough to say he had a concussion. They just said that the response times were not the same as clear-headed. Also, right? So it'd be like being a little tipsy and not totally drunk, right? You're just like, I'm all right. So
But if you're dealing with an alcoholic. Yeah, but if you're dealing with a tipsy alcoholic, don't you pull him out? Like, if there's a guy who's had numerous concussions and he's got kind of a concussion, like, don't you just err on the side of caution and say, let's pull this guy?
Well, that's the thing, though, is do you know, right? Like, sometimes those alcoholics are pretty functional when they're tipsy, right? Like, and maybe more so than normal, totally sober. So, when you see him, you're like, that decision didn't seem right, but then you're like, like.
I agree with what Wynn says here. He's, and then they're going to look back at this and go, "Oh, could we have prevented this?" Yes, absolutely, Tua. You could have prevented this. Like, probably there was a point to walk away, and you didn't. And I know that's easier to said than done. I understand when you're a young guy, you think you're still invincible, but at some point your body is telling you you've been hurt like every year but one.
Well,
and the concussions are just on top of that.
Well, and he said that he was going to play until they had to carry him off the field. So, I mean, like
which might be soon.
Right. I mean, he's actively choosing the problem, though. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's on him. And, at the end of the day, it is a business. So as long as he's producing, they don't care. Right.
Right.
Like, they may tell you they care, but they don't care. Right. Like this is a business. It's about dollars. That's it. And so, I mean, the only time they'll care is if he does get hurt on the field. Right. And it's not because they necessarily care about him. The league has proven that's not true.
Right.
What they
don't want it to be on them. Yeah.
Exactly. They're about protecting the shield. Right. Like that is brand protection only. Whatever happens to you after doesn't matter. Right.
Yep.
That's why when you see like domestic violence stuff and there's no video, they're like, oh yeah, game suspension, whatever. Yeah. Get back out there.
Yep.
As soon as it's like, there's a video and it hurts the brand, then they're like, oh yeah, you will never play another down in this league.
Yes. We will wipe your name from the record books.
Exactly.
We will shun you forever. But no, you're absolutely right. Because I guarantee you the Dolphins have already drafted like one or two press releases for when Tua gets hurt out there. And they're already considering, all right, how do we cover ourselves when this happens? So, and then, hey, Roger, there is hope though. You guys did draft Quinn Ewers. So the backup plan is in place.
I just love that they went with another dude that gets hurt.
Right.
I mean, you're like, okay, we got this guy that gets hurt all the time. What if we have another guy that also gets hurt? Between the two of them, we can probably get 14 games, and then Zach Wilson can clean up whatever other 2 games they missed.
Yes. That's an actual conversation that actually happened, folks. I don't know. Rod, when they drafted Ewers, Rod was just so disappointed. He's like, are you guys serious? So.
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't get it. Like, I didn't get the pick. I'm just like, really? I mean, if he's going to play in the league, he needs an elite O-line.
Yeah.
And then he's probably still going to get hurt, but at least you have a chance.
Right.
But you go to Miami, that situation was bad from the very start. First, you didn't get the draft pick. Then you have Fitzpatrick balling out. And you're like, you know what would be super fun if we just throw the rookie out there and miss the playoffs?
Yep.
Yeah. No, it's I haven't understood what Miami's done since he got there.
Yep. Oh, and now Justin Herbert, because they're always tied together. And if he's finally putting it all together and the team is putting it all together, then the decision just looks even worse. So,
yeah. And Herbert looked good. It's looked good. The other, speaking concussion-wise, Justin Fields is now out for the Jets. Tyrod Taylor going to get the start. Fields with a concussion. So he is in concussion protocol. So that, what did you expect? Like, it's the Jets,
Yeah. And he looked good week 1. That's the funny thing. The team at least was competitive. And now
in fact, you're the best we've ever seen him.
Yeah.
That's
Maybe he thought it won't get better than this, and he's like, I'm bowing out.
That's right. Color me up. I won one hand. I'm good.
Yes, I'm good.
I have some good tape finally. Get me out of New York.
Yeah. I thought it was a bad decision when he went there in the first place. I thought that was wild. But I said, okay, do what you feel like you got to do. But now, that one's going downhill in a hurry.
I mean, the fact that he had a good game is amazing. I mean, when you think of the Jets, you don't think of cultivating quarterback talent. That is not what comes to mind. You're like, oh, that's where quarterbacks go to ruin their career. Except Justin Fields hasn't had a good career. So you're just like, oh, that's going to be the stop that makes him good? Yeah, I don't think so.
No, like at all. At all. And that, I mean, what have you always said? Quarterback. Now, maybe this may be his career arc. Quarterbacks are good after they leave New York. So maybe he felt like, look, I'm going nowhere. Let me go in there, get the curse on me, and then have it lifted on my next stop. And maybe that'll be part of his interview when somebody's like, why, thinking about signing, whatever. He's like, look, I used to be a Jets quarterback. I'm going to be great here. Like, look at all the other guys.
Well, and
but the only question is, does it take one team away or does it take two teams away after the Jets?
Well, but he got to start with a dumpster fire organization in the Bears. So that's kind of like being a Jet. Right? I mean, because they don't exactly make quarterbacks better there either, right?
Right.
If there's 3 franchises that you're a quarterback and you get drafted to, you're just like, it's the Browns, the Jets, the Bears. I mean, you go there and you're just like, well, maybe I don't make it through my rookie contract.
Right. But if I go like the Baker Mayfield, but if I go the Baker Mayfield route and get away from them, which, by the way, he was balling out for them too, and they just don't realize it. So the Browns are allergic to good quarterbacks too. So
no, that's what I'm saying, right? Like those are the franchises, when you get drafted there, you're just like, well, here we go. That's why I laughed at the Shador thing where he didn't want to go to Baltimore because they were going to take him in the 5th round.
Right.
And he was like, I don't want to be a backup. And so he basically torpedoed that, which is wild to me because he would have been a backup there. He's the 3rd stringer, barely getting reps where he's at. I'm not sure how that isn't better because Lamar has shown that he can get hurt sometimes. So you might actually got the opportunity to play a little bit. And if nothing else, you're at least in a functional franchise. So people would have been watching, right? And instead, now you're surrounded by dysfunction. You're barely getting reps. Obviously, we don't get to see his meeting room reps, stuff like that. Like what do you see here and whatever. But I don't know. Just those 3 teams, they're not about like elevating the talent of the people they bring in the room. Their player development is probably some of the worst in the league. So
you go in there to the player development coach's like office or whatever, and it's just a bar. It's like, what's up? Like,
that would probably actually be better.
Couldn't be worse. It could be worse. Oh, and the best point on Shador in the Baltimore, you'd at least be going to a team that wanted you versus a team that was like, I ain't drafted him. He drafted him. No, I ain't drafted him.
That's like being the last dude at a dance party where somebody walks up and they're like, I guess you'll do. Right. Cool. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, come on. I want to dance and you're available.
But then they're like, but you already have a dance partner out there, Dylan Gabriel. Like, but we're just still doing this anyway.
Yeah, but we're not really dancing together. We're just going to like, it's, man, I don't even know. Like, it's so weird. Brock Purdy, week to week, turf toe. Mac Jones will get the start this week. He actually looked pretty good coming in, part way through that game. And then of course this one hurts if you are a Washington fan. Jaden Daniels, knee injury, day to day. Mariota is expected to start.
I didn't know Mariota was still around.
I know, right?
I'll be honest. When they was like, here's his backup, I was like, what?
Yeah, I mean, somehow he's been on rosters, but yeah, he hasn't had to play. Somehow he's magically gone to teams that hasn't needed him much. But
right.
So yeah, Daniels go down, knee injury. That's never great for a guy that's mobile.
Right.
Because even if he's back, you're always a little bit worried if they bring him back too soon because they need to. You watch RG3 ruin his career that way.
Yep.
In fact, you got to watch it firsthand if you were a Seahawks fan because we're the team that finished it.
Jeez, Bo.
Oh man, it was rough.
Finish him.
Yes. Finish him. Need that little graphic. Yeah, no, I mean, obviously a lot of that was to blame on their turf, right? That Washington Field is garbage, but yeah, he was out there playing when he probably shouldn't have been. He had a knee brace on, and he got absolutely smacked by, the Legion of Boom, and then he was a backup for a couple of years, and then that was it, right? Had a good rookie campaign, and then really nothing after that.
Yep.
But so yeah, we're going into week 3. We already have 5 starters not gonna start. Like this does not look good. This is starting to look like 2 years ago when we had 68 starting quarterbacks.
Starting quarterbacks, yeah.
So it's not a good start. It's not a good start.
No, face of your franchise, and then let's also say the person making the most money in most of these cases. Like how does everybody else's salaries go? He's the best paid non-quarterback in the league. So there's like the quarterback category and the non, and it's, I mean, but it seems like every single one of these teams, it was a different thing. It wasn't like some league-wide, oh, you guys aren't doing this well. It's like, well, this happened to him, and well, this happened to him, and this happened to him. So it's not like a fix. It's just the most unfortunate thing. It also seems like with the way the talent is going, there's barely enough starting quarterbacks. So some of these backups out here are just, it's going to be rough, I think, on a couple of them. Mariota is way past his time. Now, I do notice they always seem to draft him to teams. I guess they're still banking on his mobility because he seems to back up quarterbacks who are mobile. So, I mean,
he has a spot in the league, right? Like he is mobile. He can throw the ball all right. He can look decent. So, I mean, it's why Winston keeps getting jobs, right? It's not like he's going to ever go out and become the starter, right? But he's entertaining. He's entertaining. Like that is.
He is. I love him.
Like that's probably the best thing about him is he's fun to watch. His sound bites are ridiculous. But at the same time, if he ever has to play, he's going to throw as many touchdowns to your team as their team. Like it's just what it is. He's not looking for, hey, Justin Jefferson's down there somewhere. It's more of, hey, there's a guy with a helmet on.
Yes, I'm throwing it. Oh, wrong helmet. I mean, we're talking about a guy who got to get LASIK, like halfway through his career?
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's just like, oh, I mean, then you thought he was going to get better, and it did for one season, and then maybe it didn't stick. I don't know.
Yeah. It regressed.
I agree with that.
Yeah. And he seems like a good guy. I mean, definitely, he's definitely has a career after he's done. But I feel like there's definitely an entertainment value to keeping him around as well.
He definitely has a career after. It's probably not on a broadcast, though.
I'd put him on the broadcast. Now, you better be ready for whatever craziness comes out. It might not be breaking down the play, but...
And that's why he won't be on a broadcast.
I'd have him the third in the booth. You have the play-by-play guy, then the one-color guy that breaks down the stuff, and then Jameis to say something crazy, and then we go on to the next play.
I think if he is part of a broadcast team, he fills that... like Saragusa sideline reporting kind of thing where he just says some wild stuff to a coach as they're running off.
Coach, y'all getting spanked out there. What's going on?
Exactly. That is the exact role I could see him in if he makes it to the TV route. Oh, man. So, yeah, then, here we are, week 3. We got some weird matchups now that we have quarterbacks out. So we got some games that are really not going to be worth watching. We have, a couple of these backups going to play each other. And so that one will be, I saw an update where somebody's like, can that one be flexed to like 4 a.m.?
They can sim that game, like that's fine.
Especially, they're out there playing Madden against each other.
Yeah, I mean, at least no one else gets hurt, and then you got just a good chance of winning.
Right.
And the Bengals are 2-0. I can't believe this, and now trotting out Browning. So this should always be interesting.
Yeah, well, I mean, Browning's why they won the last one. So I mean, he comes back to win that game. So they bring in some other talent, I guess.
I guess.
try and find their next backup, right? And so, I don't know. The Bengals are going to be a rough watch. So switching over to baseball real quick, you have Cal Raleigh hitting 55 and number 56, which, look at me finally getting a Homer story to talk about, right? I get to say something good about the Mariners. So he ties Ken Griffey Jr. for the single season franchise record at 56. He also moves past Mickey Mantle for the most home runs by a switch hitter all time.
That's still amazing to me.
Pretty cool.
I'm like, it's tough enough for me to swing one way and then switch hit. I don't know. That's always tough. And then as a catcher too. So
exactly. Well, and to hit for power, like that's the biggest thing. Like I could hit the opposite direction, but I couldn't hit for power. I could hit for contact, but I couldn't hit for power. Righty, I could yank it. Lefty, I'm like, I'm gonna slap at the ball.
Yes. I will hit it.
I will make contact.
Yes. No, that's very impressive. That's very. This is not the exact on it, but this is another reason why I kind of wish baseball ended before football, because I feel like some of these stories for this casual people, like the people who are into baseball, you're all over this, but I think casuals like me would be a little more interested in this story a month ago, because this is an amazing accomplishment. And then I'm looking at what they're trying to fight off Houston for the West too as well. So it's like a great story because you always see the great seasons, the empty numbers. These are like, hey, we need every single hit, every single home run, that what you're doing. And I just feel like it'd be a better story like a month ago, right before football really got going. And now I feel like it kind of gets lost in the shuffle a little bit. So that's from a casual. So
no, and you're not wrong. I mean, even things like the Mariners winning their last 10 straight, that's a cool story. It gets hidden in football. And similarly, in the last couple of minutes here, the WNBA.
Same thing I think about them.
They're taking on football. And not only are they taking it on, but they're directly taking it on. For the first game of the playoffs was Sunday,
was at 12,
right? Like you're going head up against the NFL. That's a tough ask, right? So then Tuesday, last night, to win that game, to force a game 3 in the series. Right. What day do you think game 3 is? Oh, they're taking on Thursday Night Football.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I don't like.
Are both games taking on Thursday night? Oh, no, I guess one of them would be first, but because now you have 2 game 3s that were forced last night, right? And so they'll both be kind of in the middle. Yeah.
Well, and the other 2 game 2s are tonight. So then those.
No, but I'm saying like the Indiana and Atlanta, since it was tonight, does that mean they're also like? Do you have both game 3s that came from last night? Both are playing against Thursday Night Football. I haven't looked at the full schedule, but okay. Yeah, that's just
the winners tonight. I believe play Friday.
Okay. To your point though, that's an all well. And then going back to the first one, because I saw that on Sunday, and I was like, the NBA always does that. They love their playoffs and they start at 12 or whatever, but there's nothing on when they're doing it.
Exactly.
For the WNBA, and there's not even a chance that you're like, hey, if you have YouTube's multi-view, one of those boxes isn't going to be the WNBA game. You're going to have either 4 things of football or you're watching Red Zone, or like that's what you're doing. There's just 0% chance. I can tell you the scores because I followed the thing, but I didn't watch any of that action. It was a football day,
Yeah.
So that's just unfortunate. And the same thing's going to happen, especially Thursday, considering it's on Prime. You can't even split that view to watch the other stuff. So
no, exactly. Exactly. I mean, the only saving grace is the playoffs are on ESPN, right? So I mean, like they're at least getting the national broadcast. It's not like it's Ion. Not saying anything bad about Ion, but you got to want to go get Ion, right? Like you want to go, you have to want to go watch that. Whereas ESPN, if you're like me, that's just kind of preloaded on one of your just like frequent channels all the time.
You click up, there it goes. Yeah, no, absolutely. And to the other point about it getting, what's up, Tyler? Good morning. It getting lost is there were some great stories. Indiana staying alive without Caitlin Clark and basically losing half their team through the year, right? And then Seattle snapping, a 16-game winning streak last night by
dramatically, because they were down double digits halfway through.
Yeah. And had to hold them to 12 points in the fourth quarter, I think, to hold on to get that one. So those are two great stories to force. And this is what the NBA used to be, in the first round when they had shorter series. So these 3-game series, man, that's now I am glad they switch it to where it's not like one at one place and then two at the others, so somebody can steal home court advantage, I guess, quickly. But at least now that you travel back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting, right? So being at the game yesterday, in the presser, we got to talk to Becky Hammond, which is the coach of the Aces, and right? And we were talking about the format, right? Going 1-1-1 instead of 2-1, and the importance of finishing it, back home and trying to win on your home court and whatever. And she said that she doesn't like the format because she feels like the lower seeds should have to win a game to get a home game. Right. So win on the road to earn that third, because it's a best of 3.
Right.
So then they switched it now to where it's 1-1-1. And he's like, but at the same time, if there is a game 3, it's nice to be home in front of your home crowd and, use that energy to your advantage. So, I mean, you can see it both ways, but in years past when it was 2-1, then the other teams are like, well, yeah, but we never got a home game. And I look at it the same as when people are mad about running up the score. It's like, well, if you want a home game, win.
Yeah. And that's what you got to do. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or win more during the season and then you're hosting and you get the 2 games. But for them to go 1-1-1, I get it. It's a lot of travel though.
Yeah. And that's what you have. I mean, with it only being a 3-game series, that's the weird part, honestly.
And it's every other
even
day.
When the NBA, and when the NBA did it was 5 games, so it would be like 2-2-1. So you would have some time. You'd have a little break between 2 and 3. So yeah, the fact they're leaving it at 3 and switch it, and then that's one reason why they did those 2-1s. You never got to a lot of third games, and you cut down on your travel. So I definitely see that. But I would hate if you lose one at home and all of a sudden you're the higher seed of game 3 is on the road. That seems like
that's what I was
saying. Worse, that seems even worse. So
no, that's what I was thinking. I like the 1-1-1. I would like it better if it was a best of 5.
Yeah, that's what I think.
I've never been a huge fan of a best of 3. Give me a best of 5. It's not like it needs to be a best of 7 round 1, but a best of 5 for sure would be good.
And to be fair, I didn't like when the NBA went to best of 7 for round 1. Because you're seeing a lot of 4-0s anyway with the 1 versus 8, and the talent disparity was so big, especially once they did the play-ins. And now sometimes you're the number 9 or number 10 seed gets into the 8 spot, and you're like, these teams are really bad. We don't need 4 games to figure this out.
For our football fans, the analogy there is it would be like a practice squad corner getting brought up for a game against Justin Jefferson. And he just happens to have, Peyton Manning throwing to him where that ball is going to be perfect. But yeah, I'm a fan of best of 5.
Yeah.
That being said, if you are tuning in to us, be sure to like and subscribe. We got to get out of here. If you're watching on my channel, stay tuned. Coming up next, Coast to Coast Sports. Otherwise, we will see you all next week. Take it easy, everybody.